we're going to talk about this stick. This is just a walking stick. This is an Irish shillelagh style, but you can have any kind of walking stick. And the question is, can you fight with this stick for self-defense? Meaning, can you fight with a walking stick for self-defense? So we're going to explore that very quickly. We're going to get right into it. When you use a walking stick, any kind of walking stick, they're generally about waist high. The way you measure one is you measure the break of your wrist, where your wrist bends, to the floor. Most are about 36 inches like this one. You're usually putting your hand on the top, whether there's a knob or it's just a straight stick. You can make your own from a dowel rod, or you can have this style Irish shillelagh. Maybe it's one of those Brazos walking sticks. I put some links in the description. If you want to see what these sticks cost, you can spend a lot of money on something like this, or you can spend $12 for a dowel rod at Home Depot or Lowe's, make your own. So the first thing that you would do to defend yourself is slide your hand down the front while you're bending your knees. You bend your knees so that you're loading up the muscle, loading up the springs, your legs, so that when you come up, you have power in what would be a first strike. So from this position, you bend the knees, you come up, you point your thumb literally at the threat, this position. That puts the stick between you and him. And if he takes a step forward, you tell him to back up, your other hand's up. You can simply thrust, going right into his face. You can pull it to your shoulder and strike through with a lot of speed and power. And if you have a blackthorn shillelagh like this one here, this blackthorn is extremely strong, almost indestructible, and you're going to break bones, or you're going to knock him out. You hit him in the head, in the jaw, you might break his jaw, you might hit him in the neck, hit that process of nerves that flush the blood from his brain, he falls to the ground. Maybe you smash his shoulder, smash his upper arm, break his elbow. Maybe he's reaching out with his blade. He's got one of these. He's either thrusting or slashing, and you're going to strike the hand that's holding that, breaking his wrist, knocking it out of the way, knocking the hand out of his knife, or the knife out of his hand. But that's how you might use it from this starting position. So it's in your hand, one foot's in front of the other hand comes up, you give the verbal command, back up, you're bending your knees, you point your thumb, thrust, you have an angle down, practice angle up, coming the other side, practice your horizontal strikes, striking to his head, striking his body, taking out his legs, his knees, breaking his thighs, smashing right into the leg, coming down into the shins. Maybe it's a vicious animal attacking you, you're walking your dog, you're carrying your walking stick. You can quickly and very powerfully throw one of these horizontal strikes, and then of course a vertical strike coming down on top. Maybe he's choking somebody, he's got his hands on somebody, won't let go. You say, get your hands off of my kid, and you smash with your walking stick. So the question is, can you fight with this stick for self-defense? This stick is the walking stick. First answer is yes. You can fight with it the same way you would a sword. Thrusting, angular strikes down and up, horizontal strikes, and then a vertical strike. And that's how you would practice. You put it in the other hand during practice so that you can use both hands evenly or equally, coming up at an angle, horizontal, and then down. You can make yourself a practice routine where you just practice that combination of a simple thrust. And think about, you put this stick here, smashing his nose, going into his teeth, into the throat. That could be a fatal strike, into his solar plexus, between the belly button and his privates, that thin fascia of muscle. Hit him there, it's going to put him on the ground. Your entire body weight is behind it, and when you thrust, you're going to extend your arm, turn your shoulders and hips to get more speed, more power, and more reach. Turning, and then if you take a step with it at the same time, you accelerate that strike, and now you have real stopping power. So the first way, sliding down the front, point your thumb at the threat, get the stick between you and him, and you're fighting like this. You can also put your front hand on it and use it like a police baton or a rifle with a bayonet or a rifle butt. Simple way the military uses it. So from this position, pointing the thumb, put it in the other hand, simple thrust. You can turn, and now using this big bar of wood, smashing the teeth down his throat. Anytime you control his head, you control his whole body. You can smash him back. You can box his ears by turning your shoulders and hips. You can let go. You can create some tension here, pulling, release, bring it through for a harder, more powerful strike. You can step in and smash like you would with a rifle, but in the military, you run out of ammunition. They're crossing the line, fixed bayonets, you're fighting with that. Now it's like a spear. You break your knife off the front. Now you're fighting with a big stick. Your rifle has no bullets. It's lost its point. Now you're fighting with this stick. So can you fight with this stick for self-defense? Using it in this first way with one hand or two hands, the answer is yes. You can use this, you can fight with this stick for self-defense. Second way you can use it, your hand now instead of sliding down the front, slides down the back. And from this position, this hand's always up, you're always protecting your head. Put your helmet on, guard your head if he's throwing that punch. This absorbs that. This also acts as a shock absorber. If he hits your head while you're holding it with your own arm, it's gonna take a lot of the power out of his strike, and it's gonna keep you from getting knocked out. Plus it covers you up in case he does come through with that blade. He's gonna hit the back side of your arm instead of the front side. A lot of people recoil and as an instinct. Instead, you want to cover and put the backside forward. From this position, there's your first thrust. Now, if your walking stick has a big knot, like a piece of brass, or it's an Irish shillelagh like this, with this hard root on the end, this one's got lead shot in it. They drill a little hole, fill it with molten lead, and then seal it back up, lacquer the whole thing, and it's not coming out. So this has a lot more heft. That's gonna break the teeth down his throat. It's gonna smash the nose into his face. That'll break his glasses if he's wearing them. That'll break the orbital bone in his face. That'll break his jaw. That'll crush his windpipe. That'll crush his solar plexus. That simple thrusting motion, you can go down to the groin, all these basic things. Now the benefit of holding it this way is if you were to grab your stick, you can then turn your other hand, get your other hand on it, twist, and then smash into his face and make him let go. So from this position, you have that first thrusting motion. Now think of a boxer, right? You have a hook punch coming in this way, into his jaw, into his ribs, into his thigh. Maybe you're sitting on a bench or you're sitting on a bus. Spinning your upper body, twisting your shoulders and hips engages your core muscles, which are stronger than your arm muscles. It's because they're so much bigger. Your core muscle is bigger than your arm. So when you twist, you get the arm, you get the shoulder, but you get the belly and the back. And you smash him here. You can swing it straight up, smashing up under his chin. He's reaching out with that punch. He's trying to choke you. He's trying to grab or slap or scrape or hit you, and then bring it up and bust him right here. The question is, will this work against an athletic person? Yes. Being athletic doesn't mean you can fight. I think your question might be, will this work with somebody who has a lot of fighting training? And the answer is, I don't know why you're fighting a guy like that with your stick. I'm talking about fighting the criminally ill, the ones who are out on the streets and they're desperate and they're coming around and they're attacking people, especially older people. This is great for senior self-defense. This is great for somebody who just wants a gray man option. That means this isn't an obvious self-defense tool, although it should be because it's a stick. Bend the knees, bring it up, straight punch, hook punch, uppercut, answer your phone, bring your hand to your ear. That puts this that creates all this leverage on the long side of your stick. Now you're bringing that up between his legs, smashing his jaw. Maybe he's reaching, you're smashing that hand. That also allows you to throw it into your front hand and then step in with that thrusting motion. Slide your hand down and then bring the back side forward like a punch into his face. That will allow your hand to slide along the stick itself, the walking stick, accelerating the strike, giving more power with two hands, turning your whole body and breaking his jaw, knocking him out, taking away his operating system. If he's got one of these and all you have is a stick that's a lot longer, you can hit him before he hits you. You don't want to try to take that away from him barehanded. You'd rather have a stick in your hand and smash his hand, smash his head, break his shoulder, break his arm, whatever you can do with this. Comfy Dream Mask are the same techniques used with the expandable baton. No, they're not. Some of them are. Some of these first motions that we did when we were holding it like this, that would be similar with the expandable baton. This technique, sliding down here, you can do that with any walking stick. Thrust, swinging, uppercut, answer your phone, smashing, pushing, two hands, breaking the teeth down his throat, boxing his ears again, smashing and breaking his knee, taking his knee out so he can't fight, smashing into his head, knocking him unconscious. Remember, it's life or death. You didn't start the fight. You're defending yourself. He's attacking you with one of these. He's the bad guy. You're the good guy. You're using self-defense. Alita, it's good to see you. Now, there's a third way that you're going to get your walking stick into a self-defense position. But the question we started with was, can you fight with this stick? And it doesn't have to be an Irish shillelagh. It could be any kind of walking stick. It could be a 36-inch dowel rod that you bought at the do-it-yourself store, the Home Depot, the Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and you sand it down and you oil it up. Maybe you carve your initials in it, put a nice little stain on it, and there's your walking stick. Homemade self-defense walking stick. Or it could be something fancy like this. You could be carrying it like this, or you could just have it in your hand, walking like this. I guess like a drum majorette, I don't know. But I see people, this is the most common way I see people in my neighborhood right here walking. Older people, they're often walking their small dog. And when I've asked them, why do you carry that stick? The answer is always the same. It's because my dog got attacked by someone else's dog, and that other person wouldn't control their dog. My dog got injured and had to have surgery. And I got bit trying to get that other dog off of my dog. And the owner of the other dog was violent and threatened me, and now I have to carry this for self-protection. So if you were carrying it, walking with it like this, you didn't want to walk because you don't want to make yourself look old or you're uncomfortable for whatever reason. Personally, I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks about what I do, but you might, and you might not want to carry it this way. If you were carrying it this way, with it just in your hand, you can very quickly turn your palm up. This one throws it into the other hand, and now you have two-handed strikes very easily. From this position, you can also turn your hand down. Now you're holding it like you would be doing push-ups, and you smash right through his face, box his ears. Now you are using it traditional Irish stick fighting style, turning your shoulders and your hips, rolling your hand, rolling your wrist to accelerate and increase the speed of the power, bringing it to the hand as a backstop, and then smashing on the top. You could also carry it this way, Irish stick fighting style. You can bring it up to block. Now you put that over the length of your arm. When he has his blade, I'm gonna turn it around so it doesn't mess up my pretty stick. And he tries to slice up all your muscle and your tendons and get all that blood to flow. He's gonna run into this instead of that. He's swinging with that baseball bat. He's swinging with the tire iron. He's swinging with he's got an expandable baton because he's some punk anarchist. I was gonna say the other word, Antifa. Every time I say Antifa, some people say, well, no, Antifa, that's really a nice organization. They bake cookies for the homeless and no, they don't. They're a bunch of thugs. So it's some Antifa thug, which is funny, right? It's the people calling you what they really are. They're the fascists. So these fascists coming around swinging their sticks, and you might be able to block. If it's a heavy strike, always throw that other hand there behind it. You can also turn very quickly, block, and then strike, bring it up this way, bring it down on top, bring it through, and defend them that way. Orion says, hit the like button. Thank you, Orion, I really appreciate that. This new format, YouTube keeps changing the algorithms a little bit, so it changes how many people see it at any time, but we'll see where it goes. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna make these, we're gonna work out together no matter what, whether one person watches it or 200 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. We'll just keep making them because I want you guys to be safe, and we talk about this all the time. The question is, can you fight with this thing? Now, can you do pretty fancy finger twirling and wrist rolls? Can you do martial arts related kinds of things? You can, but I want you to learn how to use practical smashing techniques to defend yourself with. Hey, Joe. Joe Burnham says thank you. It's good to see you, Joe. Thanks to everybody who's been here for this one. We're going to do these all week. The question is, can you fight with this stick? And we're going to do a different stick every time we work out together. The first stick was the walking cane. The difference is it has the crook on the end, or usually a handle. Second stick is a walking stick. The next one, I'm not sure, because I thought I was going to do a different one today, but we did this one instead. Alita, thanks so much for that super chat, that super sticker. I really appreciate that. But think about this. If you need an Irish shillelagh, or in my opinion, I love these. These are nearly unbreakable. They're very stylish. I think they look really cool. These were a gift from Doug, who's on here live with us sometimes. I don't see Doug yet. But thank you, Doug, when you watch this. I really appreciate these. I also like the Brazos brand. If you've seen those, it's an American brand. They make them here in the States. And I put a link below in the description where you can get one of these, or where you can get one that's a fraction of the cost, made by Brazos. Ryan asked about, and it's kind of related to this video, because when you fight with sticks, you're squeezing all the time. The question is, tennis elbow, how do you get rid of it? So this is my experience. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist, but I've had tennis elbow over a period of my life, many, many times. And usually when I get it, it's because I've stopped stretching properly and strengthening. It's more, in my experience, it's more about strengthening the muscles that balance out the squeezing muscles. So you have your flexors, the ones that flex and hold, and that's all the stick stuff that we do. And then you have your extensors, the one that extend. So the first thing, if you have pain right now, you can take your 2 fingers or your thumb and you just massage that line. It's usually like there's a tendon in there, and you'll feel it. It'll hurt. It'll be on fire, but when you're done, it'll feel a lot better. Icing also helps. So you can massage that as you go through with your 2 fingers, and then get yourself a rubber band. When I go to the grocery store and I buy a stalk of asparagus or broccoli, it usually has a purple rubber band around it. And that purple rubber band is just thick enough, and it doesn't have to be purple, it can be any rubber band. You can take 2 or 3 if you need to. And you put that band around all of your fingers and your thumb, and that right on that second knuckle, second phalange, right? And then you just open it, you just practice opening. You do that over and over and over. Yeah, Ryan says it hurts to touch, and it should, it will. It's just inflamed, so start with ice, numb it up. Once you're done, I like to use my thumb because I have strong thumbs. And then you don't have to like crush it, right? Don't make it worse. Just gently rub it and make it up and down. Yeah, Alita says, thanks for the advice. Absolutely. Do that. That's going to help it immediately start to settle down. All that inflammation will start to get out, and then the fresh blood will come in and start to heal it. And the second thing is by strengthening the flexor or the extensors, the opening muscles. You're going to balance it out, and you're going to get rid of the reason why you have it in the first place. And I've been doing this for 40 years, so I injured every part of my body many, many, many times, and that's how I've learned how to keep going. So you can have pain, quit, give up, or keep working through it. But don't work through the pain and not do anything about the pain. Ice it first, massage it second, and then 3 times a day. Once in the morning. It doesn't have to be that much either, like maybe a minute, 2 minutes per hand. Always do the other hand, even if you don't have the pain. Make them both strong, and just practice opening. The other thing that you can do, if you have a stick to spin, this also works. This works the flexors and the extensors, and it stretches everything out. This one, if you can work up to it, just twirling through your fingers, will keep that pain away for good. Tony, good to see you. Tony says, thanks for the training tips. Tony, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for everybody for being here. Like I said, we're gonna do more of these this week. The question is, can you fight with this stick? We're gonna try a different stick every time we work together. And put in the comment section, what's your favorite stick? Not just the chat, but if you can go in the comment section, that helps me grow the channel. That'll get us more people to see these. And I ask you to do it because it helps me out. So I say thank you in advance. But put in the comment section, what's your favorite stick? Do you have an Irish shillelagh? Do you have a walking stick? Do you like the walking stick or do you like the cane? You like another stick? I'm gonna go paint the house, and I'm gonna be using my painting pole, which extends to 18 feet. Not 18 feet, 12 feet. It extends to 12 feet. And that's one of my favorite sticks to fight with. And we'll probably do one of those with unconventional, improvised weapons for non-permissive environments. So in other words, you can take your painter's pole a lot of places that they won't let you take other things. You guys have been awesome. Thanks again. Let me know in the comment section what you